Hi, and thanks for logging on to the daily DVAR halacha. And here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Tuesday, 15th day of January, ninth day of Shvat. Ninth of Shvat means that I should warn you that we are coming up on Tu Shvat, the 15th of Shvat, early next week. But we'll tell you about that when it draws close. And also, this Shabbos is a special Shabbos called Shabbos Shira or Parsha Shira, and we'll discuss that too as we get closer to Shabbos. Meanwhile, I have a halacha that I want to tell you. I'm sitting in Baltimore giving you this halacha, and in Baltimore, this has been our first winter weather. Maybe for a good number of listeners, this was your first good shot of winter weather over this past weekend, some more coming over this coming weekend. So I thought of just telling you a winter weather halacha, and here it is. Um, Probably a lot of you know that if you're ever, God forbid, involved in a scary accident in a car, that it is appropriate if you're able to go to shul and to at the next time that there's a laning, or possibly on the next Shabbos that there's laning, to say Birchas Hagomel. And that's a special bracha that's said at the end of your aliyah, and it thanks Hashem for saving you from that scary situation. Some people, based on the guidance of your rabbi, some people do, some people don't. They actually say this bracha every time they fly over the ocean. Also, thanking Hashem that they safely completed a flight over the ocean. Okay, but now to this specific situation. With winter weather upon us, it sometimes happens in a slippery situation that a car could, God forbid, lose control on some ice and fly through a icy spot and hit nothing. Like let's say you hit some ice and you just slide right through an intersection and you actually make contact with nothing. It was just a very, very scary moment because your car flew right through an intersection on ice, and it's lucky, thank God, that nothing happened. And you probably have a feeling of, I'm going to shul at the next possible occasion, and I'm saying Birchas Hagomel, bench and gomel, as some people call it, because my car just flew through an intersection on ice, and I'm lucky to be alive. So I've heard from a lot of rabbis that that situation doesn't actually qualify for a Birchas Hagomel because if you think about it, all of us in this generation that fly around in cars, let me rephrase that, zoom around in cars at whatever speeds we go at, are always really in a potentially scary situation because you're moving along at 65 miles an hour. The car next to you is moving along at 65 miles an hour. Sometimes the traffic is kind of close and you're all moving 65 miles an hour. And when everyone gets home safely, you don't think anything of it. You just say, "How was your trip?" "Oh, fine." And you forget the fact that you were driving 65 miles an hour. You were sometimes not 100% alert. The guy next to you was a little unusual. There was a road rage incident 2 lanes over, and medium road rage. What I'm trying to say is all car trips have danger in them. And yet we are not instructed to say Birchas Hagomel every time we complete a long drive or a wintry drive. So the rule that most rabbis lay down for this era where we zoom around in cars a lot is that things that don't have impact in them don't necessarily have a Birchas Hagomel. Because if we were to decide that they do, then you would be saying Birchas Hagomel a lot, because we do a lot of driving at a lot of speeds that are kind of high, and it's always sort of dangerous to be driving. It's always sort of dangerous to be flying. So, in short, what I'm trying to say in today's halacha is, don't be quick to just always decide on your own. I'm saying Birchas Hagomel because I just slid through an intersection. Always consult with your rabbi who guides you on these matters, because we're not supposed to just say Birchas Hagomel willy-nilly, if they still use that expression, which means you don't just decide on your own, yeah, it felt dangerous to me, I'm saying Birchas Hagomel. You should always consult with the rabbi, because not all situations warrant a Birchas Hagomel, and you can't just say brachos whenever you want. So if you are, God forbid, in a bit of a scary situation or a more scary situation, always talk to a rabbi before deciding on your own. I'm saying Birchas Hagomel. That's our halacha for today. Thanks for logging on, and log on again tomorrow for more. Bye.